the night broke open with the sound of light tearing through the heavens, and she stood beneath the wounded sky, as if her body could hold back the falling stars. Her hair burned silver in the glow, her eyes wide as the horizon that swallowed her name. She had nowhere else to go, no one else to wait for, but she waited anyway, her breath a prayer to what once was above her, and what might still hear her below. The earth trembled with ancient songs, the wind howled with memories of gods long forgotten, and she whispered that she would stay, no matter what fell, no matter what burned. She would stay until the end. He came through the storm like the last heartbeat of a dying constellation, his body carved by flame, his eyes like shattered glass holding the sky's reflection. He did not remember where he came from, only that her voice called him back from oblivion. The stars had fallen, and with them his purpose, but she stood unbroken on the edge of ruin, and he saw in her the shape of forever. He was not meant to love. He was made for something greater, or so they had told him, before the stars began to die. Yet as her hands reached for him, he felt something greater than the worlds he had lost, something small and infinite in the same breath. The days that followed had no names, only colors and warmth, and the hum of her heartbeat that became the measure of time. He built for her a home of broken starlight, weaving fragments of the fallen sky into walls that glowed like old memories. She laughed softly at his clumsy attempts to shape beauty from ruin, and her laughter healed the air around them. They grew together through silence and shadow. She taught him how to breathe again, how to listen to the world that still wanted to live, and in return, he taught her that not all fallen things are lost. Some only fall to find where they belong. When the watchers came from beyond the pale horizon, they found what they sought in him, and they spoke in voices that were older than gravity. They said his time here was done, that his exile had ended, and his duty called once more. He turned to her. Then, his heart a storm without wind, she stood still, her eyes holding no fear, only knowing, and she said, "If the stars call you, I will not hold you. If forever waits beyond this sky, then go." But he looked at her and saw that forever was already standing before him. And the watchers' voices dimmed, for they too knew that some choices even the cosmos could not command. They fled the watchers, through the dust and song of dying light, crossing mountains that bled gold, and rivers that carried whispers of other worlds. She did not ask where they were going, only that he keep holding her hand. He had forgotten what forever meant, but he remembered the warmth of her palm against his skin, and that was enough. The stars above them hung broken like old lanterns, yet each night a new one flickered to life, born from the trail of their footsteps and the watchers in their distant thrones. Began to lose count of what remained true, for love had rewritten their maps of eternity. The earth beneath them began to hum with the power of rebirth. They found a valley where silence grew soft, and time folded like wings. She planted seeds in the soil and whispered stories into them, stories of stars that fell and hearts that rose again. He watched her and wondered if she was truly mortal, or something the universe had made to heal itself. He touched her cheek and felt warmth deeper than sunlight. And she told him that love is not light nor fire, but the courage to stay when both fade away. And so he stayed beside her, building days from ashes and nights from hope. Years passed, though neither of them counted them. The valley bloomed with life and songs. No watcher could translate. One day, the sky tore open again, and a voice older than silence spoke his true name. The stars were calling him home. They promised him eternity. They promised him power. They promised him return to the throne of light that once was his. But he looked at her tending to the garden, her hair now woven with threads of dawn, her smile gentler than time. And he realized the stars had never fallen. They had simply followed her wherever she walked. So he turned from the sky and let eternity wait. The world began again in their quiet valley. The watchers vanished. The heavens mended. The stars rose anew, not in obedience to the throne, but in honor of the love that defied it. He grew older. She did too. And neither cared for what they had given up, only for what they had found. The sky glowed each night with memory of what had been lost and what was chosen instead. And when at last his breath became light and her heart slowed with his, the stars wept in joy, for they had finally understood that forever was not the endless shining above, but the moment shared below, when she stayed when the stars fell, and he chose her over forever. The valley did not die when they were gone. It breathed their names into every petal and every drop of rain. The stars above burned quieter now, gentler, as if the heavens themselves were trying not to wake them. And from the soil, where they once stood, new light began to grow. Not fire, not starlight, but something that remembered love. Their garden became a sky of its own, blooming upward with colors the universe had never known. Travelers from distant worlds came upon that place and found in the air a peace that could not be spoken. They did not know the story, only that standing there felt like standing inside a promise, one that said, "Stay." Even when the stars fall, for love will make them rise again, and though the cosmos forgot his throne, and her name faded from mortal tongues, the wind still carried the echo of their vow. She stayed when the stars fell, and he chose her over forever.